This is The Space Shot, episode 281 for February 19th, 2018. SpaceX and CRS-10. I'm John Molix. On February 19th, 2017, SpaceX successfully launched the CRS-10 mission to the International Space Station. Before embarking on this 10th flight, there were numerous other missions that led the company to this point. On December 8th, 2010, SpaceX launched a Dragon capsule for the first time as part of a demonstration for the Commercial Orbital Transportation Services program. Before SpaceX flew to the International Space Station, they had to prove the capabilities of Dragon and the Falcon 9. Nobody wants to risk an unproven spacecraft approaching the space station with 6 humans on board. It would not be very fun to see a real-life version of the movie Gravity take place in space. NASA allocated money to the COTS program for the development and demonstration of commercial space vehicles. After these initial test flights, there have been regular resupply missions as part of the Commercial Resupply Services contracts. So far, both SpaceX and Orbital ATK have flown commercial resupply missions to the International Space Station. The SpaceX Dragon capsule is the only spacecraft besides Soyuz that's capable of launching to the station and returning to Earth with a payload, as well as being able to be reused for future flights. 2 years later, on May 22, 2012, SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 rocket carrying a Dragon capsule that would score many firsts for the company during its flight. The Dragon C2 Plus capsule was the first commercial spacecraft to berth with another spacecraft, in this case the International Space Station. It was also the first American-launched spacecraft to visit the station since the final flight of the Space Shuttle Atlantis in 2011. The COTS 2 Plus mission combined the goals of Commercial Orbital Transportation Services, or COTS 2 and 3, into one flight. The Dragon C2 Plus capsule rendezvoused with the station 3 days after launch on May 25th. Astronaut Don Pettit, a veteran of shuttle and Russian Soyuz missions, operated the Canadarm2 and successfully captured the Dragon capsule. In what was another first for SpaceX, the Dragon was then berthed at the Harmony module, and after another day of system checks, astronauts performed a cargo offload and reload for equipment and experiments that were returning to Earth. The Dragon capsule splashed down in the Pacific Ocean after spending a week at the station. After these test flights, SpaceX launched the first Commercial Resupply Services mission on October 8, 2012. All of the previous flights had been for demonstration purposes, and this was the first of what became regular flights to the station. CRS-1 delivered supplies like food and consumables, crew clothing, and other necessities. This early resupply mission also delivered the Glacier, or General Laboratory Active Cryogenic ISS Experiment refrigerator, to the station. During launch, Glacier was carrying a special cargo for the astronauts on the station: ice cream. Not the freeze-dried kind you see in museum gift shops, but the actual frozen ice cream variety. Fast forward 5 years to December of 2017 for another important milestone for the SpaceX CRS launches. CRS-13 marked the first time that SpaceX launched a previously flown Dragon capsule and Falcon 9 booster, furthering their goal of reusability. In April of this year, CRS-14 will be lifting off for the International Space Station on its regular supply run. I hope you enjoyed this brief history of the SpaceX CRS resupply missions. I'd really appreciate it if you could venture into the Apple Podcasts app or your podcast app of choice and leave a review for The Space Shot. To those of you that have left reviews, I appreciate it. For everyone else, reviews are critical because a steady stream of them helps ensure that The Space Shot is more visible in the Apple Podcasts app. As always, the show notes have more information on today's episode. You can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Mulnix. I'm always up to chat. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search The Space Shot or click the link in the show notes. Apologies for laughing here a little bit. Miss Daisy decided to jump up on my lap and interrupt recording. Tomorrow, Godspeed, John Glenn, the first American orbital launch. I'm John Mulnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.